Well, I have several points of interest this evening I'd like to cover, and I hope I can be brief and yet thorough to where that we can glean a few thoughts, a little bit of understanding perhaps of our Constitution and our Bill of Rights. I want to start this evening with the very thought, and the question is, what is the purpose of government? Why do we have government? The Declaration of Independence is a very profound document, and I want to read the preamble here. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, that to secure these rights, governments are instituted among men, deriving their just powers from the consent of the governed. So we can glean out of that, then, that our rights are God-given. They're given to us by our Creator. They don't come from our family. They don't come from our government. They come from our Creator. And that to secure these rights, governments are instituted. So I believe this answers the question as to why that we do have government. And that is to secure the rights of the people. And the consent of the governed. The people are the sovereign. The Constitution. What is the Constitution? What's its purpose? The Constitution is a written, binding document, non-negotiable, setting forth the basic and fundamental principles of government, its limitations of power, its structure, its function thereof, so that, in short, the Constitution was drafted to govern the central government, that the rights of the people would be secure from an overreaching and despotic government. The Bill of Rights, or the first 10 amendments to the Constitution, ratified December 1791, 3 years after the ratification of the Constitution. Many of the men who signed the Constitution would not sign only unless they were guaranteed a Bill of Rights. And it was paramount, they believed that it was paramount to the principles of liberty and to the free exercise thereof. Why did they feel so strong about the Bill of Rights? Because they had suffered tyranny from a forceful and cruel government for more than 600 years. So I think we can understand, as we read these Bill of Rights, that we can look back and understand why that these people believed so strongly that we had to have a Bill of Rights. That we could not leave it altogether up to the government to make the decisions and to decide what our Bill of Rights were. We, the people, had to spell them out, and we did. And if I may, I'd like to read the Bill of Rights here to us this evening. Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion or prohibiting the free exercise thereof or abridging the freedom of speech or of the press, or the right of the people to peaceably assemble and to petition the government for redress of grievances. If we read the history, we'll find that those people, under a king, they sought grievance for many, many, many years and found none. So these people decided with the three branches of government that we have that we surely could be able to have a right, and our rights would be protected, that we could be able to find a redress of the grievances. A well-regulated militia, being necessary to the security of a free state and the right of the people to keep and to bear arms, shall not be infringed. I want to tell us this evening, these people were not duck hunters. That's not why they wanted the right to keep and to bear arms. They were not sport shooters. They wanted to bear their arms for self-protection. They wanted the arms that they could bear their arms for the protection of their family, their property, because their families in that 600 years of time, their families had been raped and pillaged, and their children killed, and their property had been stolen and burned. And they said, we want a guarantee. We want a way to take care of these situations. And so they said, we want to keep and bear arms, and we don't want any infringement on that right. No soldier shall be, in time of peace, be quartered in any house without the consent of the owner, nor in time of war, but in a manner to be prescribed by law. The king's armies had raided the houses of the people, and they had went into those houses and they had taken all of their goods and drove their families away from their own homes. And they took control of those families and those homes. The right of the people to secure their persons, houses, papers, and effects against unreasonable searches and seizures shall not be violated, and no warrant shall issue, but upon probable cause supported by oath of affirmation and particularly describing the place to be searched and the persons to be seized. They had not been secure in their houses. Their personal belongings had been ravaged and taken from them. And they came without warrants to search and to seize their possessions. And so they said, we want a guarantee. No person shall be held to answer for a capital or otherwise infamous crime unless a presentment or indictment of a grand jury, except in cases arising in the land or naval forces or in the militia, when in actual service in time of war or public danger. Nor shall any person be subject for the same offense to be twice put in jeopardy of life or limb, nor shall be compelled in any criminal case to be a witness against himself, or be deprived of life, liberty, or property without due process of law, nor shall private property be taken for public use without just compensation. In all criminal prosecutions, the accused shall enjoy the right to a speedy and public trial. Many times the king would take a person that was accused and that they would lock them away and hold them for many, many days, and sometimes for years, and sometimes the witnesses were even killed. These people said, we want a speedy trial. We don't want things happening in this country that we're establishing this government in. We want a speedy trial. And the public trial by an impartial jury of the state and the district wherein the crime have been committed, which district shall have been previously ascribed by law, ascertained by law, and to be informed of the nature and the cause of the accusation, to be confronted with the witnesses against him, to have compulsory process for obtaining witnesses in his favor, and to have assistance of counsel in his defense. In suits at common law, where the value in controversy shall exceed $20, the right of trial by jury shall be preserved, and no fact tried by jury shall be otherwise examined in any court of the United States than according to the rules of the common law. Excessive bail shall not be required, nor excessive fines imposed, nor cruel and unusual punishment inflicted. The enumeration in the Constitution of certain rights shall not be construed to deny or to disparage others retained by the people. The last one, number 10, the powers not delegated to the United States by the Constitution nor prohibited by it to the states are reserved to the states respectively or to the people. If we'll read the Declaration of Independence, you'll find the reasons why these people wanted these Bill of Rights. They had suffered persecution. They had suffered all types of tyranny. Their properties had been taken away. Their families had been destroyed. And they wanted a guarantee that they would be able to enjoy the pursuit of happiness and their liberty. I'd like to speak briefly about the oath of office, that our elected officials and those that take positions of authority or positions of serving, they all take an oath of office. And I'd like to read or speak briefly about the oath of office. It is a solemn promise made to the people with God as a witness. It is an outward pledge made with the sense of an immediate responsibility to God as well as to the people. What is the solemn promise made in the oath of office of our elected officials and our peace officers and those that are appointed to positions of service? These oaths vary, some in the wording, but these are very basic things that are covered, and I'd like to share it with you here this evening. I do solemnly swear or affirm to support, preserve, and to defend the Constitution of the United States and of the state of Colorado, being our state, and men that take a state position, they swear an oath to both the federal and to the state constitution. And that says against all enemies, both foreign and domestic, and to faithfully serve and to execute the office that I am about to enter. That is a solemn promise that they make to you and I as the people who have placed them in office. So, in all of this, all the laws passed by Congress and all the actions of our elected officials and any who take a sacred oath must be in pursuit of and in accordance with the Constitution of both the federal and the state. The preamble of the federal Constitution. We, the people of the United States, in order to form a more perfect union, establish justice, ensure domestic tranquility, to provide for the common defense, promote the general welfare, and secure the blessings of liberty to ourselves and to our posterity, do ordain and establish this Constitution for the United States of America. I'd like to read Article 2, Section 2 of our Colorado State Constitution. The people of this state, being the state of Colorado, have the sole and exclusive right of governing themselves as a free, sovereign, and independent state, and to abolish their constitution and their form of government whenever they may deem it necessary to their safety and happiness, provide such changes be not repugnant to the Constitution of the United States. So the people that we elect and that we place in positions of service, they are the protectors of our rights and the stewards of our liberty. And we, the people, are the sovereign to be protected. But we all must remember that a government that is by the people, for the people, and of the people places squarely on the shoulders of each and every one of us a due responsibility to be wise, to be vigilant, to be honest and moral, to ensure liberty for our generation and the generations that are yet to come. Remember, liberty lost is slavery, despotism, and tyranny in exchange. Thank you.